Today, with so many choices, finding the right financial services can be difficult, but it really doesn't have to be. With the right questions, you can really tailor your search to your needs. Today's local financial expert will share some interesting tips on what to look for when searching for the right answer for your situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Murray story is going to go down in infamy. I love the story of connecting.
It doesn't get old
With Murray, but I'll say this, and I don't know if anyone out there needs to hear this or not, but just in case they do, I was very frustrated with my relationship with Murray in the first couple of days. But what I was aware of was that every time Murray spoke on, right, and I really mean this, and I would say the same is true for Murray as for Joe, that every time Murray spoke, he sent a video. He was so thoughtful, he was so giving, he was so caring, and then the language that was in that document was such shit. And it was like, and it was like, what? I can't reconcile these two things, right? And it's like, okay, well, clearly you didn't write this document, or someone has really instructed you poorly about how to write that. But
it wasn't. It wasn't.
But he was so genuine, and he was so. And so there was a moment where it was like, well, how much do you want to invest in this guy, right, in order to help him out? And it was like, this guy is worth investing in. The document is shit, but he is worth investing. And I don't know if anyone needs to hear that, but those gut instincts, Murray and I have done a lot of business together. Right? We've done a lot of good things together. We've had great conversations together. It's improved my life together.
Unbelievable.
We were 7 seconds of never speaking again.
Exactly. Right at the edge.
Right. And so what a blessing. So those gut instincts matter. And Murray and anybody who communicates well and cares and gives matters. Right. And I would say the same thing with Joe. I would say Joe is one of those. Hey, I've shaken your hand. You're now in my family. Right? You're
100%.
100%. And so all of a sudden, Joe's got a successful business. But all of a sudden, it's like, hey guys, I've got this opportunity. Do you have time at 10 o'clock tonight? I can talk to you about it. And it's like, oh, okay, like let's go. And like, how many people are doing that in the world? And I think Joe is maintaining his position in our emotional lives as much as our professional lives by being that type of open person doing that.
I told you he was good with words.
Yeah, thank you for that. Murray, if you can, because I know you may have to hop off, but if you can just give us your thoughts about, as we're going into Bitcoin, your thoughts about alternative investing, what you've experienced doing business with myself and WealthColony, and just so that if somebody out there is, even considering it, how can you help guide their thoughts?
I appreciate that opportunity because I can't tell enough people about working with you. In a military expression, Joe's the guy you want in your foxhole. And to me, that's like the biggest compliment you can give anybody. He's not just smart on investing, but he really has your back. He's just not a guy trying to sell you stuff. And so alternate investing, to me, it's kind of like off-market stuff, and it's like, who do you trust? Because this is me. I'm like, there's a lot of good ideas, but who do you really trust? And I felt like I wasn't savvy enough to, even though I'm a finance professional, I needed somebody to help navigate through the landmines that were out there. At the same time, I knew I wanted to do something besides the stock market. So how do you do that? And I was always interested in Bitcoin, but like I said a minute ago, how do you mechanically do that? And I saw a lot of sleazeballs marketing Bitcoin, and so I couldn't wrap my head around how I was going to actually do that. And Joe introduced this kind of a hybrid, which is only available through Joe, or I think, yeah. But anyway, I would never have heard about through Joe, and Joe has done all the research and vetted this out. And the story is unbelievably compelling. I 110% have faith in what he's doing, and the people behind the company that he's currently talking about are cutting edge, proven commodities in blockchain type industries and other industries that have unbelievable track records of success. And they're leveraging Bitcoin, which is, seems to be getting hotter every day. So you get the advantage of that, but not investing directly in that. And there is the gravy here. Well, the juice is there's a guaranteed. There's a
Not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, but it's consistent double-digit percentage return with gravy of the ability to buy warrants in the stock. If things go well, which they certainly have. And I don't think it's too late. I think we're just at the early stages of, and this is life-changing for me. I'm not saying that just because this is a big deal. So I want to thank Joe. I would urge people to at least give Joe a call and get the story on this, because this is not a highly publicized company, and it's not because they're shady. It's just because they're kind of brand new, and it's not only where they are now, but where they're planning on going. It's mind-boggling. So
Maury, let me ask you, if I would, and I never really told you to buy a penny stock, right? So we're clear.
No, you never did. Never
Right.
did.
We wanted to buy a preferred share. I never asked you to buy a penny stock, correct?
Never.
Okay.
And I never have.
Right. And I thought I made it clear that, listen, it's only a penny stock after 30 years of my career, because I invested privately in a company 8 years ago that we intentionally went into a penny stock with the intention of getting it uplifted onto NASDAQ. So this is a step in the process along the way, just so we're clear. But if I would have said to you, if you do buy the stock, I think you'll make more than 1,000%. Would you have trusted me?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, but I wouldn't have trusted me. You've got to suspect people's bargains. Inside, in my heart, when I was mining Litecoin with 100 computers in my house, waking up in the middle of the night like the Dunkin' Donuts guy and rebooting them because they're throwing literally a million guesses a second at an algorithm, I literally thought we would make significant, because I saw Bitcoin run to 1,000 the first time. But I never told any of my partners, listen, you're going to make 10,000% on your money in the next 3 years. We made about 15,000%, and that's why I just want to make it clear that I do know, and I'm a realist, that this stock can turn around and go down because Bitcoin somehow isn't going to be a fraction of what I think it's going to be. I just think there's a lot of tremendous value in staying with it and even buying more here. So I'm glad we're doing well. And I'm psyched that we'll have other opportunities in the future. And I just wanted to thank you for being who you are and sharing that experience, with everybody here, on the call.
Let me circle back on that. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have gone with 1,000%, and nor would you have done that. That's not the kind of guy you are. So that was a throwaway question. The answer is, go ahead.
I think knowing me now,
yeah,
after the run and how we handle it, and I have experience with winners. They don't happen all the time, but when I know they're in process, I'm not gonna. I used to see this all the time. Here's the expression: I'm not gonna clip my flowers to water my weeds. And that's what a lot of investors do. They want to sell it. I want my flowers to bloom, and it's not even. It's the beginning of spring, right? It's the beginning of batting practice. So. Thank you for that, Murray.
Well, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Brian. You guys are awesome. I got to go. I'm sorry.
You're awesome. So,
right, see you.
Brian, can you give a little context?
Absolutely, yeah. One of the, it's interesting listening to you talk to Murray, because for full disclosure here, with the webinar, the audience here, I did believe and you didn't say 1,000%, I just figured it out, that and what we did, and I want to edify you here, because this to me is your integrity. Now, I've had the honor, it's an honor, to speak to you every week for the past couple of months, and so I get to know you well, but we had those conversations before I was invested, right? And the thing that I always take away from my conversations with you is, when you were on Wall Street you answered the phone when the market was down. Everybody else ran away from their clients when the market was down. I don't want to hear it, they're going to be mad at me. And you were like, my MO is I answer the phone when the market is down. 2 reasons. Number one, that person trusts me and they need support right now, so I want to be there for them, right? And I think that's good business, and I think that's why you've been as successful as you are with people, number one. Number two, it's a good time to buy, right?
Yeah.
and so there's, right? And so, but the whole thing is trust in Joe. Like the whole thing is Joe's done the research. Joe, and can you trust in Joe? And without exception, so far in my relationship with you, you can trust in Joe without exception. And so what I heard you say was there's this preferred option, which is fantastic, and it's amazing, right? And it's great. And then, but the warrants come in at 10 cents, and the common stock was lower than that. And so it was like, well, why would we want to miss on the move from essentially 2 cents to 10? And to your credit, you said, I'm not telling you to do that. You said you are personally doing that, but you're not saying to me that I should do that. Like, I'm going to take that on my own. And I was like, yeah, if I think those warrants are good at 10, I'm going to believe it's going to move from 2 to 10, right? That's part of what I'm buying into here. So I did put some money, and to put this into perspective for people, the last 6 weeks, INVU, until a year ago, or I had a job. I had until maybe a year and a half ago, I had a job. I had a salary. I had, right? And INVU has more than done for me with a very small initial investment, my salary for my last salary. It has increased that much. And let's just say I didn't put in half of my salary. Right, this was a massive, to me. You saw something here, you knew it was coming, you did do the research on it, you believed in it, your money was in it. But at the end of the day, did I do all of that? No, I believed in you. And mostly I believe in you because you're the guy who number one says, listen, I'm not telling you to do that, but here's your risks with that. I appreciate you being that straightforward. And you're the guy who answers the phone when things go down. And that's, our investment money has to go somewhere. It's always going to go. I will always have money invested with you for those reasons. Because those are the real reasons that I do things, or that anybody does things. Do you trust where the information is coming from? Yes, I trust Joe Hagan. Yes.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for that. And really, I guess I have to, thank my parents for that, because really it's how I was brought up. It was like, first of all, I watched them work really hard and get a blood out of every nickel to make sure. I shared a bedroom with 3 older brothers, and I've said this to you before, I wouldn't change it for anything. Gave me a competitive edge when I went out there in the real world. But I also watched my mom and dad work really hard to put 4 of us through private school, vacations in the summer, go out to eat. The sacrifice was, that I had to share a bedroom with 3 older brothers. Money went, it probably saved them money to pay for Catholic school uniforms, because I didn't have to go buy different clothes. It was just, rinse and repeat the same couple of clothes. But again, I wouldn't change it for anything. It made me who I am as a person. And when I went to Wall Street, I wasn't going to lose that person. And I would say, it's pretty funny, the way I compare it. I compare it to some of the things when I first got to Wall Street. I had competitiveness, I had book smarts. I said, okay, how do I act? And a show, Seinfeld, used to be popular. And if you remember, Costanza made it to, working for George Steinbrenner, because everything he did was just opposite of his instinct. So, my instinct was to do the right thing, but I would watch the instinct of your typical average broker in big boardrooms, handling lots of different accounts. And I would watch them get really excited to call their clients and tell them when they were up, right? And I would watch the same people go to their sales staff, tell them I'm an investment banking meeting, tell them I'm like hiding under their desk when things are down. And I'm like, that guy doesn't need you to tell you he's up. He knows. He's watching. If not, like, even though there wasn't smartphones back then, people still checked, okay? Even if it was in the newspaper the next day, he'll see it in due time. But more importantly, it's good for business to find the people that can help your business. However, the people that can help your business that aren't your clients, you don't need to talk to them when things are down. The guys that gave you their trust, you need to be there for them.
And there you have it. Some great advice and a few simple tricks is all it takes to find the right professional that won't disappoint. Would you like more information? Today's expert can be reached at the number on your screen. Thanks for watching.